Good morning, dear children. Today we are going to study chapter 1 of your book Beehive, The Fun They Had. So before I explain you the entire chapter, I would just like to give you the introduction. This is a very light story. It is set in the future. It will make all of you love school. This story is regarding school life and how those children who do not go to school miss school. The setting of the story is in the future when perhaps there will be no school, no books. Now, how those students will miss going to school and will feel that their ancestors, that is the present generation, you all had fun going to school, meeting and helping each other. In the end, we come to know that this is an imagination of a young girl named Margie, who comes to know that their ancestors used to go to school. All the children used to study together. She feels that they all had a lot of fun when they went to school. So, when we read the story, we feel that school life is very good, and we are fortunate that we have real schools where we go, meet friends, and get a chance to study together. So, let us start with lesson explanation. Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary. On page headed 17th May 2157, she wrote, "Today, Tommy found a real book." Dear children, Margie is the main character of the story. She is a girl of 11 years of age. She writes a diary on the night of 17th May 2157. Right now, we are living in 2020. As told earlier, the story is set in the future and it is set in the year 2157. So almost 1.5 century, that is 142 years from now. At what time Margie writes an entry in her diary and she writes that Tommy found a real book, and that is the Tommy found a real book, and they only have ebooks, the virtual books. So the books in the format of print on paper are extinct, and so Margie is astonished. She is very surprised to see a real book. Children, we are talking about an era, like in this chapter you're going to study, when I told you earlier also there will be no books and the school will be a virtual school. So at that time, Margie writes an entry in her diary and she writes that Tommy found a real book, and she is feeling so strange because in her times real books do not exist. In the second para, it is written that it was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. It means Margie is reminded of her grandfather. She was missing her grandfather very much. He told her that his grandfather studied all the books that were printed on paper. So, this kind of a book is historical or ancient for them. Something which they cannot believe, they cannot imagine. So, dear children, today we have studied 2 paragraphs and I have told you their explanation also. I would request you to read it, to listen to it once again, and try to understand the lesson. In our next video, I'll explain you more. Thank you. Thank you so much.